The Omnic Weekly. Welcome everyone, it is Sunday, October 6th, and this is episode 181 of the Omnic Weekly. It has been a while, but we're back. With me is Frozen.
Hey.
Hi Frozen, and look at that, it's Vegeta. No, wait, it's LP.
Oh my god.
Hello, it is me, LP.
Thank
you.
LP is back, all the way from Florida. How you guys doing?
Better. I didn't have a great start of my day. 7 hours in the train at train stations, and trains that don't come or come late, and it's been a hassle.
It's a good ad for public transport right here. That is.
Don't take them.
Yeah. Especially if you live in a big country like Germany, you can be stuck on the train for quite a while. How are you doing in Florida, LP? Because like you guys have been having some interesting weather lately.
Absolutely. We just had a Hurricane Helene kind of graze us. Well, maybe my side of the state, but the West Coast, not so good. And I know Appalachia is going through some stuff like North Carolina and all these states. I'm good. We have another hurricane actually on the way. It should be here next week.
Yeah.
And yeah, just trying to be safe and keeping my
looking out of the window.
It's the season. Do they generally kind of graze you as like the west side of Florida often hit? I think it is, right? Because it's kind of in that little armpit thing deal.
Yeah, so like the Gulf of Mexico is that little armpit like on the west coast of Florida, whereas the Atlantic Ocean, it's colder on that, like it's colder water. So the hurricanes don't like enjoy, they're like more like jacuzzi babes. They like the west coast because it's warmer, and that's where they'll pick up a lot of the steam to cross and pick up from category like 1 or tropical storm to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I heard that one is on the way to Europe too. That is currently over the ocean, but the thing is, of course, by the time it gets down to our kind of latitude or whatever, it has kind of chilled down a lot because it's colder up here. So it's kind of the same deal. But the weather has been interesting this year. Well, it's always, I remember like all those years ago, it's kind of a seasonal thing, and one year is worse than the other. But
global warming.
Don't forget to throw your Campbell's chicken noodle soups at expensive paintings.
It's been interesting, but it's nice to see you guys again. It's been a while. We did not do an episode throughout the summer because everybody was very busy, but also to kind of take some time off and to reflect on. You need to keep evolving whatever you're doing. You need to think about what is going to be the next step. And we've kind of figured it out for ourselves too. That the Omnic Weekly is going to continue. It's just going to be, for now at least, a more 2-weekly deal, partly because it's going to be easier for all of us to kind of get it all done. But also, I don't know, but there's not been that much news in Overwatch. I feel overall, even if a season is coming, you get this little kind of peak, and after that, it just kind of dies down again. It's there's a lot going on and a lot to unwrap. Maybe we'll keep that for a future episode. But I feel like the intensity that we've had in the first year of Overwatch is definitely has slowed down a lot in the last few months. And I think it's going to be more interesting for us. On top of that, we're also thinking about inviting more guests. Like every single time we've had guests on this podcast, we've had a blast. I think that is also something that we want to work to. If you want to do that on a weekly basis and invite guests every single week, well, you need to make it a full-time job. And that is not going to be the idea. We're going to try and invite more guests. There's going to be episodes with 3 of us. There's going to be episodes with a guest. But we'll always try to be at least with 3 people, so we have more people to kind of talk to. Otherwise, in the last few months, there's been a bit of a dialogue between myself and Frozen.
Yeah.
And me commenting about her hair color, about her decor or whatnot. The fact that she's
changing.
For people that are not watching the video podcast, she matches her poster on her wall perfectly today. You need to check that out. Yeah,
it's beautiful. I'm merging into my room very slowly.
Yeah, she's trying to hide. She's already in the Halloween mode.
Always, all year round.
All year round. Yeah, it's coming close. It's coming close. But anyway, so we are back. It's going to be 2 weekly, slightly shorter episodes, more guests, always 3 guests. It's going to be interesting. You guys will see. Just stick around. It should be fun. Now, For today's episode, there's plenty of stuff to talk about since we have not been here for a while, but just there's a lot going on right now. We're at the end of a season. I know LP is kind of not playing a lot of Overwatch right now. Frozen has been traveling all weekend. I personally did play the Drives weekend that is going on. For the people that are not familiar, let me quickly explain it. It's basically a new progression system that they added for a short time, just for this weekend, on top of the normal progression and competitive, where every time you win a match, you get drive points. Every time you lose a match, you lose some drive points. You win more with a win than you lose with a lose. So basically, if you're at 50-50, which is rather difficult, but I'm going to talk more about that later, you should progress to the first checkpoint, second checkpoint. Every time you get past the checkpoint, you can't fall back below it, and you get a reward, which could be competitive points and the new signatures, the pimping of your battle tag, which looks snazzy. That's kind of the deal. But let me first talk about my experience before we kind of dive in, because, you both haven't had the chance. The match quality for me personally throughout this weekend has been... which is not Dutch for something. It's just universal language for shit. It's been kind of... And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's due to the drives or it's just because it's the end of the season, but holy... Let me censor myself here for a second, just for the joke. Holy... It's been a clusterfuck. So I managed to get the first unlocked, but now I'm losing 4 out of my 5 matches, which has been frustrating. What I also noticed is that I keep playing because I want to continue doing the drive. It's only for a weekend, so I feel like, I need to continue. Monday it's gone. So I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I'm kind of curious to hear everybody's experience once this is over. So I'll definitely be doing a poll about that. But what do you guys think about the idea that they're adding these new kind of progression systems on top of everything else?
Well, the idea is cool. Mm-hmm. The timing might have not been great, since competitive at the end or towards the end of the season is always a horrible experience, if I'm allowed to say it. I actually found myself really liking to play competitive recently, like here and there. And I've been having fun. I've actually been having fun, but I always, like at least the last 2 weeks of like a season, I always usually try to avoid it because it's never good. It's never great. Toxic people come out like more than usual.
That's definitely true, yeah.
And it's not a fun time. And like to put that drives event that's just focused around competitive at the end of a season might have been a tiny little mishap. Because like, of course, a lot of people are going to play competitive, but putting that only for a weekend as well, like on the end of a season, I don't know about that.
I think they might have done the timing, like the fact that they did it in the last weekend deliberately to kind of pull in more people to kind of counter that effect that you said, because I think the toxic effect comes from the fact that the people that are only playing competitive at the end are either people that don't play the game that much or the people that are just kind of, I don't know how to say that. They don't have anything else. They just kind of, that's the only thing they do, basically. They're not there for the social. They're kind of self-hurting, self-loathing, self-hating, I don't know, kind of people.
Oh my God, that's how I've described it. You're kind of like a masochist. You're like, I'll take the pain of this competitive mode.
Again and again and again.
I think we can all recognize that. Like when you have that kind of thing where you're working for and you keep losing, I should be able to turn it by the next game, all right? I'm going to give it another try. Doesn't work out. You just get more and more frustrated. I generally have the rule where I quit after 3 losses. I have not been doing that because the drives. I do agree with you, Frozen. The weekend is way too short. It just puts too much pressure on the whole thing.
Especially since you have like a weekend and like, okay, fuck the people who have things going on in their life and are not there for a weekend at their PC at home playing Overwatch. Like, that besides that.
That felt very personal. Fuck the people that have to go visit a friend somewhere on the other side of the country.
No, but like, they can't, like, of course, if you like a game, you're gonna be like, oh, I want to play this, but like some people of course can't make it or do something. And if they would have put like a week, fine, a week, of course not everybody's gonna be like, able to play or anything, but like a week is a reasonable amount of time. But 3 days is not enough time, especially for like a rather big game and with like such a large player base. I don't know.
I do agree with that. I think they wanted to do it deliberately on the end of the season to kind of push some behavior, but I think it kind of backfired. It just came this. At least that's my experience. It's kind of hard to tell because I have not talked to anybody that went through it. I know a few people in our community have been grinding it. I saw some of them had the really snazzy signatures. What do you guys think about the signatures, by the way? Like the new, it's basically an effect on your battle tag.
I mean, they're cool. I hope they're gonna do like different versions or different like designs every time they do it, because of course like not every design is gonna be for everyone. Like this is a very like cybertech design.
It is.
So like I know a lot of people who really enjoy that design. We're like, oh, that looks so cool. I personally, I would probably not like equip it if I had the chance, even if I had it, just because it doesn't fit with the vibe of my profile and with like how I have everything set up that I like it. But that may be just me.
I love how you go for a vibe of a profile. LP, do you have a vibe for your profile?
I just like to have one original avatar, which is Hamster. I think it's just Hamster with his little sailor hat, smoking the pipe, and then I don't have any signature. I don't like that. I just want you to think that I'm an original, classic Overwatch gamer.
Yeah. Someone that hasn't played the game in over 2 years and just walks in and goes like, "Oh, what is all these fancy pictures you have on your profile?" Fuck that. I'm not doing that.
I color coordinate everything. The only thing I have right now is because I finally got the mummy title from the battle pass. I put that on and I'm never gonna take it off.
Yeah, I have the same one with Druid. I don't know why, because it kind of reminds me of my World of Warcraft thing. With the signatures, what stands out for me, and I think that is a very temporary issue, is that it is kind of cool to have this extra thing on your battle tag, but at some point everybody has it. So it just becomes a new thing where you basically join a game and everybody has the same thing. And some people have it at level 2 or level 3 because they've been grinding it really hard. And they got all the animations, of course. Once you go at tier 1, you basically get everything. But it just feels like, okay, now everybody has it. It's not special anymore. But like you said, Frozen, hopefully they'll add more. I know that these will be removed in the 6 monthly reset. So every time they reset our scores, these will be removed. So it happened in season 12. So the next time is going to be season 18. All of these are going to disappear. But I do presume that they're going to add new ones for the next Drives event that they'll probably be doing. I just hope that they indeed do it longer and in a different weekend or a different moment of them. Because
I can already tell that a lot of people are going to be very, very mad when, like, not yet, of course, because right now they still have them, but like right before they remove them, when we're like, oh, why don't we get to keep it? We worked so hard for this, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
I hope they won't, but I already know they're going to be.
Look, it's just a thing. And I think that is something that we need to get used to in Overwatch too. I don't know if you guys know this, but if you get the Xbox, help me out, the Game Pass, you basically get access to all of the skins from the last 3 seasons. So a lot of people suddenly found themselves having all these extra skins. But that window is going to move along. So in season 13, that window of 3 seasons is going to move along. So they won't have access to the season 9 skins anymore in season 13. I know for a fact that is going to upset people because, they'll first off, some people are not going to realize why is that skin gone. I had that. They never bought it, but suddenly they found it in their inventory and they were like, oh shit, this is cool. Let me equip that. It's going to disappear. And the people that realize it are just going to be salty because they think it's a way for Blizzard to kind of convince them or to push them to kind of buy those skins, which is probably part of it. But the bigger part of it is that they need to add value to the Game Pass. And there's no other way for them to add value to the Game Pass than doing this. And adding, what did they add? Some mythic points. So, LP, did you get any of the mythic weapons? Because you have not been playing for a while. Did you get the Reinhardt one?
I did not. I looked at it though. I thought it was pretty cool that he had his like all his actions, like the little fire stuff. But no, I feel like at this point Blizzard is just trying to push me in the direction of spending my money, and I'm like, no, Blizzard, fix your game first. How about we focus on what really matters? Don't push me. You're a glorified skin shop at this point.
Yeah.
Give me my updates.
Yeah, yeah, and Frozen, how you've been enjoying? I'm not even going to ask. Did you get the Anna weapon skin? Because even if I didn't play with you in the last 3 months, let's say, but we haven't played together for a while because I stream in the mornings now, and Frozen is usually fast asleep or working when I'm streaming.
Night shift or working, it's a bit, but yeah, I know. I love it. I love her. I love that weapon on her. It is great. It kind of was a bit of a lucky coincidence because I didn't care for the Reinhardt mythic weapon or the Ashe skin last season, so I had like my 80 mythic points still in my thing, so I could get the Reaper skin and the Ana mythic weapon at the same time, which was kind of cool because I like the vibe of the Reaper skin, though I don't play him as much, but it was worth it. And that Ana weapon. I like that in spec, like that little spinny thing. And like when you do that spinny thing and then you sleep someone, it feels so much cooler.
Yeah, it's because it's another hat. Yeah, I didn't know that. There was Yados that told me that you could, if you, I don't know if you've seen this LP, but she basically has a flourish where she spins her dart gun, her sleep dart gun.
Yeah, I saw that. It's like it's kind of cool because like as you're like playing the game, you kind of just want to, you're always looking for ways to BPM. I feel like that's why they add all the breakable stuff inside the spawn rooms, right? So you can just what is it called, fidget while you're waiting
exactly
to do your next action.
And there's nothing cooler than sleeping someone and then doing the flip afterwards. Or the one thing that is cooler is flipping it and then sleeping them. That is the ultimate thing to do.
It is so cool. It feels the serotonin you get from that is so great. It's such a small thing. It's amazing. Also, it's kind of interesting because they kind of changed her weapon in a way where like she kind of shoots these crystals now instead of her darts, which was, you had to get used to that kind of, because I feel like with the mythic weapons, you kind of have to get used to the things. Like, of course, I find the swords that come down when someone gets a kill really cool, but it was like the amount of visual clutter you have kind of get used to them. Like, because sometimes it's like right in the corner of your eye, and then you feel like, oh, there's an enemy, and you like whip around, but there's nothing.
Yeah, but that is the result of the fact that they basically do it with everybody that gets killed. They don't do it just with the people that you kill. They do that effect on everybody. And they do that because otherwise there's a lot of Annas that don't get that many kills, so you wouldn't be able to see it.
I mean, I would like if they maybe did it with kills and assists, because as a player, you get a shit ton of assists.
Yeah,
and then you can like kind of visualize and you kind of see, I helped there, Yeah, like,
exactly. You're aware of those situations.
Yeah, sometimes you don't really see, but like it would be cool if they would add that. Also, it's interesting that like I have the gold weapon on. I didn't even notice at first that I had the gold skin on there, because it basically just makes it more shiny currently.
Yeah, it's only like a shine effect that is added on top of it. It's gold already.
I would love if they just made the whole thing gold and the whole thing like jade, because you see the green, you see the jade, but you don't really see the gold. It's basically a free gold gun on top.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I guess they did it because it changes color depending on if you're damaging or if you're healing, and that is the white and the black that you see. So
it's really cool too.
Yeah, I think the mythic weapons. I've said this before, but I'm actually a bigger fan of the mythic weapons than I am of the mythic skins. I prefer the mythic weapons because they have a way more of an effect on your personal experience. I feel like the mythic skins are always for other people to look at. I mean, there's some stuff, the weapons sound a little different and whatnot, but with the mythic weapons, they feel so, like you said yourself, Frozen, you need to get used to that new sound and a new dynamic, and that is what I enjoy about them. They have a way bigger impact. So I'm kind of more of a fan of the mythic weapons.
The first time in a game, and I put in my scope, and I heard a little zzz.
Yeah.
When you like put the scope in, was so satisfying. I think I got goosebumps.
Yeah. Who do you think is going to get?
I have a question.
Go for it.
I have a question regarding like your old competitive points. Are there any plans? Because I had like just enough to go into my next gold weapon, but I'm like, is there any plans or has there been any mention?
Yeah, I talked about when they announced those new points, when they said that there would be separate pools and that they wouldn't, I me and a few other content creators actually flagged that to Blizzard, like, dude, there's going to be a lot of people upset about that. And so the next season, they kind of they were probably aware. I'm not saying that we did that, but they said to us like, yeah, we're working on a solution. That's what they told us back in the day. And then next thing I said was, yeah, but what about the fact that some people have those golden coins, but they can't mix them with the new coins? And they said, yeah, we're going to look at that somewhere in the future too. The idea is to kind of fix that issue too. And I think they're going to do it once they kind of go to the next currency. They're probably going to do this system where it kind of, because that is now the biggest problem, is that, you basically have the old legacy stuff. The new one was added. They don't have how do you say that? They don't have a way to mix them right now. I think that is something that they're going to do, so that I mean, it's historically Blizzard is kind of bad on that stuff. Like if you want to buy something on their store and you have like, let's say you have, I bought the Diablo expansion because that is coming out next week, and I had like $40 still on my Battle.net account. It just suggested me to pay with my credit card or PayPal instead of saying, "Oh, yeah, you got $40 here in your wallet. Pay the rest with your." No, it was just okay. Pay the full amount.
A lot of new. Wow. Okay.
So yeah, I did it the other way around. I just purchased some more of my wallet credit and just fixed it that way. But if there's a bit of a workaround, and Blizzard has historically always been bad with stuff like that. The user experience when it comes to all their secondary products is, which is also not Dutch. It's just a word for something that really sucks. I was thinking about something earlier that I wanted to mention. Oh yeah, we got a teaser this week for season 13. I don't know if you guys saw that. Spellbound. Now,
I love it.
Yeah, so when I did a video a few weeks ago where I was like, okay, this is going to be the Witches and Wizards team because there's only one season left in the whole of 2024. The options that we have here is either it's going to be some type of Lord of the Rings high fantasy deal. The second one that I had in mind was, okay, they're going to kind of do a fake Harry Potter, which got me a lot of pushback. People were like, yeah, no, that's money is going to J.K. Rowling. Like, no money is going to J.K. Rowling. They're just going to spoof it. They're just going to fake it. And
I mean, how they did it with D&D. It wasn't technically D&D officially.
Yeah. It's just going to be some kids in the school and there's going to be some weird creatures running around.
No money's going to a turf. Don't worry about it. I think a lot of people at Blizzard would have a lot to say against that.
Yeah, exactly. And the third option, people suggested that I even hadn't thought about, was the Wizard of Oz.
True.
That could be, but we got the Dorothy skin in this season for Ash with the Tin Man Bob. So on the other hand, they gave us the Dorothy skin already. So I don't think they're going to do the Wizard of Oz. But what do you guys think it's going to be based on that logo? Have you seen the logo?
I've seen the logo. I mean, based on Spellbound, it seems like they're probably going for more of a classical type of witches and wizards, like Merlin kind of type.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Good point.
Like I saw it and was like, because I read some, I have some books, like old Merlin books and stuff like that, because my mom was really into it. So I got, I got that sometimes read to me, or I read that sometimes. And it seems like they're probably going to be like a bit more old school about it, which I kind of like though.
Okay. And do you have okay, we have Merlin, but what do you think is going to be added to that when it comes to other characters and whatnot?
I mean,
I'm not really
if you have
lore.
If you have Merlin, you're gonna have Merlin always has his like animal apprentices, like all around.
He does. He has animal apprentices.
Yeah, he has an owl. I think he has a cat. Like there may be ways to do something with that, which is kind of cool, because he is like the greatest wizard of all time. But I mean, they could also do like the wizard robe and stuff like that. I mean, Merlin was also part. Sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I didn't know you. I mean,
Merlin was also part of like the King's Table with King Arthur and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true. But that's more Arthur lore than it is
in the medieval times. But I don't know, like medieval wizard could be cool. But I feel like they might also lean a tiny bit into the Harry Potter theme-esque.
Yeah, Merlin is also part of the.
Yeah, he's also part of that.
Yeah.
Because he is an ancient wizard.
Yeah, he's ancient, definitely. He has a log.
I think we're going to see a Witch Mercy skin or Kiriko and an owl skin for Ana, and a deer skin for.
So you mean 2 recolors and a recolor? Because they already have those.
Oh God, you guys are starting to sound like my YouTube comments. Seriously, like when I made a video about there were just people. Yeah, I hope Kiriko gets a skin. Fingers crossed. Oh, I hope we get some recolors. Fingers crossed. Like, yeah, I get it, guys. I get it.
Can we get more of those, like, please, like, old school slasher horror movie skins? Like, we had a slasher 76 at some point.
Yeah, true.
Can we get, like, Ghostface, Freddy Krueger? Can we get, like, all of those, please? That would be so cool.
I've seen other people asking that. That is a very good point. That would be awesome, actually, for next year, next Halloween. I mean,
Or what also would be cool, I recently watched The Purge. And I kind of...
Did you watch The Purge or The Purge?
Purge.
Okay. Because there's a big difference.
I kind of did a little like cosplay photo shoot yesterday with like some costumes. And honestly, like the Purge like themed skins, like 1 or 2 would be really cool. With like the glowing mask and everything.
I haven't watched neither The Purge or The Purge, actually.
Do you know what it's about?
I know what's about, yeah. I know that it's, and with the siren and whatnot, I know the high level, but I never watched it. Yeah, there's a lot of, when it comes to Halloween and horror themed stuff, there's plenty of stuff that they can do that this community will eat up, because there's a lot of people in our community that enjoy stuff like that. But I'm curious to see what they're going to be coming out with for this season. The teaser just showed that logo. They also showed shots of maps, Halloween maps that we already know about. Like Hollywood was in there. Eichenwald was in there. There was a third map, a Halloween map that they showed off.
I had a question because I didn't have the time to check. You saw like in the teaser, you saw the 2 like movie banners, right? Like the posters with like Junkenstein's Revenge and The Reapening.
Yeah, those have always been there. They have always
Maybe
been.
we finally get The Reapening.
Who knows? Yeah, because that is going to be a thing, of course. But I personally find, I've talked a lot about the fact that, like what LP hinted at, that Overwatch is slowly becoming, and all the events have become shop events. Like they don't do any more gameplay with all of these events. Like the My Hero Academia event, it's already confirmed that all of the skins are going to be in the shop. There's no gameplay attached to that. You'll be able to unlock some smaller cosmetics, but that's it. And it talked about all these events. But the one event that always has kind of stood out and that over the years has always been consistently better than all the rest, to the point where overall it is considered good, is Halloween. Like last year with Diablo is one that a lot of people still talk about. The first event.
I thought you were gonna say Lucio Ball. Hell yeah!
Of course, the classic Halloween mode Lucio Ball LP. Yeah. Very classic. Yeah, I always play that on Halloween.
No, I think for some people, Lucio Ball is definitely the one event to look forward to. But I think overall, if we look at the more general kind of vibe within the community, I think Halloween is always, like that first year, I remember when they did the Bride of Junkenstein, everybody was kind of thrilled about that. I know, remember that we talked on the podcast on how that showed the potential of PvE. Now, 2 years later, you know,
when they did the echo thing in the chamber. Oh.
Yeah. But also the dog portrait, that was one of my favorites, where the dog would bark at you if you waved at him and stuff like that. All these small things.
They gave Halloween events like always so much love. And I hope we're going to see that again this year. That's really hope
hoping.
so.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. You can definitely tell that the teaser was very Halloween focused. So I do think that this season, the big piece of content is going to be very kind of spooky Halloween themed the spellbound thing.
Can we get a Venture pumpkin skin, please?
Can we get a cinematic?
Yes, please. The thing is, I had someone from Blizzard in my chat like a few months ago, and we were complaining at that point about the fact that there were no more animated shorts and that there were too few. And that person spoke up and said, yeah, they're working on stuff, guys. And some of my favorites are still in there, but they couldn't say anything else, of course. But
can we verify that employee is still at Blizzard?
Yeah, that employee is still at Blizzard. I know who it is.
Okay, good.
And I mean, it's not like that is a secret. They've been saying that they've been working on stuff, but he also confirmed that they are still working on that stuff and that it is going to be that one of them, like his favorite, he said, still needs to be released. And since we haven't seen any, so I think that is still in the... I mean, we've seen the origin stories, we've seen the release trail, but that is not what we're talking about. What LP is talking about is...
Is the Netflix series still happening?
Please.
Yeah, sadly.
That would have been so cool.
I'm just the comment section, but like I'm vocalizing the comment section.
LP is the comment section currently.
Well, let me, while we're talking about that, let me reiterate the story that I talked about on the Omnic post. But apparently there was a Netflix series in the works, but then Netflix stole the CFO of Activision Blizzard, and Bobby was pissed. So Bobby sued Netflix, and yeah, that kind of killed everything that they were doing with Netflix. But let's be honest, I think there are some competitors for Netflix out there that maybe could do a better job with it right now. I don't know if you guys saw the Rings of Power.
I mean, Amazon is a big thing.
But Amazon was, I'm going to be honest, up till this year, Amazon had not impressed me. But this year, and especially the Rings of Power.
Fallout.
Yeah, Fallout.
Fallout 76, but Fallout was great.
Fallout was the first one that really, but this Rings of Power, Jesus freaking Christ, that finale of the second season, it just...
Let alone when back then, when they start filming it, when I saw the intro and I saw the making of the intro, how it was made, I was like stunned. Mm-hmm. So like Amazon, like in that part, like the Prime version is really stepping up its game currently. Maybe also because like Netflix is like taking huge L's and huge hits. Like I had Netflix for years and I unsubscribed and I stopped giving them money just like because they put in Power that like you had to be at this location to use the family deal and everyone has the same location. And no, thank you.
Yeah, the prices kept going up every 6 months. I think I still pay €5 for my Prime. I'm not sure. I should check.
Was Last of Us also on Prime, I believe?
I got Prime. I still got $5 like every month.
Yeah. And Last of Us, I don't know. What was Last of Us? Where was that? Was that on Netflix or Amazon? I'm not sure.
It was on Prime. It was on Prime, yep.
Yeah, it was on Prime.
Yeah, okay. I haven't seen that.
Out with bangers.
I haven't seen
Last of Us was banger, was so good. Like you could put the series and the video game next to each other and you would have like the same absolute exact like cutscenes in the series where they fit in. That was so good.
Yeah, I've not been watching a lot of TV, even streaming services. Or I'm just what I'm currently doing, and I'm watching it on Prime. It's just like series that I'm binging while I'm working or whatever. They are running on my top screen. Like now I'm watching 2.5 Men, like all of the series. But yeah, me and Hilda decided we need to really look at all these series that we wanted to see. So we hadn't seen any episodes of Rings of Power, and we binged the first season and then ran into the second season. And I was so blown away. I was so impressed. So if they ever do a Overwatch series, go to Amazon, guys. I swear. Jesus freaking Christ. Those people know what they're up to. They have a good taste in... and I mean, they did Fallout. It's a Microsoft product. You can do Overwatch.
You have the connections. Yeah. So...
It's the same thing.
I want that.
But yeah, that was a sad story. That brings me, baby, to the next topic. And something that Alpia also suggested we talk about before we started recording is the upcoming book. For the people that are not aware, Jason Schreier, which is a gaming, I'm from Sweden, a gaming journalist that writes from Bloomberg. That was really weird. Jason is one of those people that has been around in the gaming industry as a journalist for a really long time. There's a few names of people that always get the first news, that get the big articles, that talk to so many people that they're aware of everything that is happening. And he wrote some good books in the past, but this one is, I think, the most promising and the most interesting for me personally, is a book about the history of Blizzard, basically, up till the point that they were sold to Microsoft. So, and that will include a lot of the stories about Overwatch, the Overwatch team, Jeff Kaplan, why Overwatch 2 kind of was such a clusterfuck. And he literally said why it feels like Overwatch 1.5. So that book is being released next week. So I think by the next episode, all three of us will have read the book. I'm looking at their faces, and both of them are like, "Fuck you." I'll definitely.
Homework.
No. I'm going to try it. It releases this week, I think, on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. I hope to have it, and I'm going to try and read it all by the next episode, or at least as much as possible because I
How
do
about
think
you
there's gonna be
how about you do an audiobook for me and then I'm gonna listen to it.
sounds good. I'll send the
Are
invoice.
we getting
to
any
Jason.
more playable missions?
Yeah, exactly. That is going to be part of the book. That is going to explain how that all kind of went down the drain.
Give them a break, guys. Blizzard is an indie company, okay?
That's the ongoing joke.
You're really my YouTube comments, dude. Seriously.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I think Overwatch really needs this to kind of pivot to something else. I think Overwatch needs this big moment. I think that is what we need right now with Overwatch. I feel, all kidding aside, all the things that LP has been saying, all those comments are based on realistic issues that have been going on with the game. And I think there's two ways of interpreting those issues, and you could only look to the bad or you can only look at the good. I think it's a mix of the both. I think I still enjoyed playing the game, except for competitive this weekend. Fuck you! All those Doom tanks that don't want to switch. Anyways.
roasting. Are there not that many Doom tanks? It's fine. Whoop.
Doom's and Wrecking Balls. Fuck you. I do think that the game is in a state where it needs something big to happen. And over the last few years, we've been looking forward to PvE, which didn't pan out, which didn't happen. The seasons were these big moments that have slowly been numbed down to just a label at the start of the season and the theme of the battle pass, basically, and the stuff that will be in the shop. The huge impact is gone. And I don't know what they need to do. Either need to ramp things up and kind of, instead of doing a season every 3 months, maybe shorten them a little bit and do more seasons, or maybe they need to push out more. I don't know what needs to happen, but we need a huge shift. And I think a lot of people are going to say 6 versus 6, but that doesn't even matter. I'm not even talking about that kind of shit. I think overall, that game needs that oh shit moment. And
I don't know.
Currently, I can't see what that is going to be. I can't see it in front of me.
I can. When we go back to 6v6, I mean, I think people are going to say something. People might play it. I mean, I think that's the next big moment.
I think
for a lot of people, sure. But also, is it gonna be any a lot different? I feel like I don't know, seasons sooner. I don't think that's gonna be something that's feasible for the team, or for that actually something big happens that you notice. I feel like the seasons need to have more impact. I feel like the seasons need to be more impactful, need to feel more impactful, because currently, of course, it's towards the end of the season, you always have that, no matter how long or short the season is. It's that drought, you did everything, you experienced everything, kind of wait for something new and stuff like that. But the seasons need to be more than just skins again.
Yeah. Is there anything you can think of that is in another game that you think that is this sort of moment that I'm looking for?
I don't know, because I usually don't play games like this. Because recently I've been kind of obsessed with Tiny Glade, which is just a building game where I'm in my little corner and I build my houses in my eerie lighting. And I start playing with the mechanics of the game. And I like building, I like creating. So Blizzard is very much my off-topic game. Overwatch is very my off-topic game of, I like to shoot things. Which because I usually don't play it.
You destroy on the other. You destroy lives, and then you build a cute little castle somewhere.
Exactly, in the mountains.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did you have anything else that you can think of?
I was actually thinking about how we can incorporate more official gameplay types. Everybody loves DLC, we all love DLC, but if they can create like you said, more Junkenstein events, more Lucio, even if it's, not a whole ass mission like we did for the story missions or the archives, just give us more official game modes instead of me having to go into the, what is it called? The workshop or the workshop, and then having to look for it. Just give me more content that's coming this week. We have, Moira Beam game mode, that'd probably be the worst game mode ever. But just
You're not
like
wrong
more,
there, honestly.
just yeah.
I mean,
just more content.
one of the things that were huge always in Overwatch 1 and even when Overwatch 2 came out was like people were excited for the archive events because of the archive missions. People were excited for Lucio Ball and for the summer games because it's like something different within the bounds of the game.
Yeah.
So
I think Lucio Ball is the best example of that. I think Lucio Ball is kind of what Fortnite has been doing for a long time, is kind of taking that engine that they're kind of running in. It's even more narrow than an engine. It's a game, but kind of do very different things within that. Like the fact that you can watch a concert in that game, or you have this whole story unfolding on your server that everybody can follow. That's basically stretching the boundaries of what your game is and stretching it to something completely different. And I think Lucio Ball is a very good example of that. I think Archives is definitely also something that would get a lot of people excited to have these little moments, these missions that are short, that are not too huge an investment, but that kind of tell the story, that are something different to do. It will draw in more people to play the base game, in my opinion, because once you are there, I find myself, if I play Apex, for instance, Apex also has these way alternative modes that they sometimes put in, that you basically get a dab match or you get a team dab match or whatever. If you play those enough, at some point you pivot back to the core gameplay.
I mean, what was amazing always about Archives is not like only, of course they have replayability when you play them with friends. I think every time the missions dropped or we had that event, like we used to like gather around in the Discord server and just play that shit all night because we found it so fun. But also what made those so beloved is those little bits and things of lore inside of it, like definitely. Voice lines, sprays, and like it doesn't even have to be huge, but when you sprinkle something like that, gives it character, gives it like a homey feeling of this is complete, this is nice. It gave me something. I find that thing cool. I want to play this again and again and again and like rethink of the time when I first saw it, because like a lot of brains, like humans, are made on nostalgia. And if you have that feeling about something, that it's like, it's a nostalgic feeling. It's the archive like missions, of course. It's nostalgic by now. But when you always go in there and think of the first time you saw that and how excited you were and how cool it was when they added that, I think we need more of that.
Yeah.
Like these little details. Bits, like love for detail, because that's what made the game. That's what made Blizzard kind of. They love like, attention to detail.
Yeah, I completely agree. Do you think there's a reason why they are not bringing Archives back? Like they have the tab for PvE content. I don't think it would be that difficult. It would be a bit of a time investment, but it would give them so much credit and kind of positive feedback from a part of the community if they just would kind of slot in the Archives.
Raising your hand.
Yeah. If I'm being honest, and based on like the little tidbits of play nice, it seems that like, Bobby Kotick's interest is whatever generates the most money or generates revenue for them. If it doesn't, I think it's not going to be, if like we can't sell this to the public, or if they can't, if they don't, there's not a client basis out there that's going to spend, cold hard bucks. I just don't think we're going to get it. Although even in the aspect of like lore, I would love to see even a book, even a chapter book, if anything, like give me a hardback or paperback book with like Zenyatta lore, throw some Genji in there. At this point, if I don't have to play it, at least give it to me in some readable form, because I think I would enjoy that, or even comic. Yeah, but I want to know more lore on the characters.
There was this one book that they released not too long ago. It's laying next to my bed. That I'm reading it very slowly, but that was a really good one. Yeah, they should do more of those. Those like short stories were really amazing. I enjoyed those a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like with Archives or anything like that, with the missions, I don't know about the like synergy inside of like the team and inside of like what they're working on. Of course, they want to like push the stuff that like it's new, that's exciting. But I don't know. I can tell like sometimes it might be like, oh, we bring that back. We bring that back. It feels like you're reversing progress sometimes, even though maybe like factually it doesn't. But I can understand why there may be a hesitation to bring stuff like that back, because it may be like something that they like finally admit to themselves, like, hey, like, we have to bring old stuff back because, like, we couldn't do that and that and that and that.
Okay,
and of course, it's kind of cool, but I don't know.
I'm going to
but
read
that
my
might
own
be
YouTube
just
comments
made
for
up.
a second, but they do
Yeah.
recolors of skins constantly. They bring
Yeah,
back
that's
old
true.
skins. So that is kind of a how do you say that? It's
Yeah,
a
but
bit
I
of a
don't know.
stretch
Skin
because
recolors
yeah, it's
don't
different.
feel like they have as much as impact as whole game modes.
Yeah, no, you're right. But I think overall, it's going to be either, we don't have the resources to do that right now. Maybe one day later. On the other hand, they might have something else that they kind of wanted to hold it back for. I know that there's a lot of stuff going on at Blizzard, that they started a new team that is going to make AA games. The archives were actually perfect as little standalone elements within the game, and those are usually good starting points for any AA game within an existing IP to look at that. So go ahead, Happy.
Interesting. So that on the sense of on the topic of them wanting to create AA games, I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with what Dreamhaven is doing. The Mike Morheim.
No, I have not. I don't know what they're doing exactly right now. No.
Okay. I actually checked really recently on what they're doing. Is they're actually doing just that. So maybe it seems like Blizzard might be taking a page out of that playbook, is like supporting AA games and really investing in those type of things. So that could be interesting because I think there's a potential for these games to maybe reach a mass population because they're being promoted and supported by these big massive AAA giants, I guess. Even though Dreamhaven is just an outlet, a publishing, or I don't know if they're just publishing, but I know they're a big platform for games, smaller games, to come out and make a name for themselves.
Yeah, definitely. I think that is an industry-wide thing. A few years ago, a friend of mine talked to someone at Ubisoft, and that person told him, like, we at Ubisoft have forgotten how to make smaller games.
Hey, Ubisoft, that's a name we all love and enjoy.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope they're around forever.
But that is just the thing. The whole AAA industry is kind of starting to realize that the investment that they need to make those games, and the pressure that they get from the financial side is just not resulting. Look at that. What was it called again? I can't think of the name now. The game that Sony released that was closed down after just 2 weeks.
Concord.
Yeah, exactly.
Concord. That was kind of funny.
The rumors suggest there was 200 million. That was 8 years of work that was pumped in there, shut down in a week. And it's because they are not making games anymore from a product standpoint. They're making games from a financial standpoint. And that is always going to hurt you. That is why I think those AA games and the indie industry is so interesting, because those still have that passion. They still come from passion. The resources that are needed to make those games is way lower. The people that are working on them are usually way more passionate about what they're doing. And they're not driven necessarily by financial gain. So you get products that are just kind of, okay, this is something awesome that we wanted to release. And, gaming industry is always a bit of a hit and miss. But the chances of getting a hit are way bigger if the people behind it believe in them in themselves.
I think that's why we're seeing games like Space Marine 2 and
Helldivers,
Wukong, for example, see a lot of financial successes because they're not creating games to pander to a live service.
Yeah, exactly.
They're creating games for like joy and fun and like playability. Like they're not. That's not their first priority. Is they're focused on the player. And I think that's kind of where gaming used to be, in like the golden era of gaming.
Yeah, that's how it started. That's how it's
also with the game I mentioned, like Tiny Glade. It's a tiny studio. I think the entire game was made by 2 people, but it is so cozy, and I've seen so many people like just say like the amazing stuff about it, and like I really enjoy playing it. I think I could just spend hours if I didn't have other stuff to do, just trying out the mechanics.
It's a perfect example. It comes from a need. People right now need to kind of switch off their mind and make beautiful stuff. That's what they enjoy doing. Fun. Yeah, and that's fun, and that will be a big success. That's why Phasmophobia was a hit, because it did something unique. It had a unique twist on something that we were all wondering about and whatnot.
If we go old school, that's why Five Nights at Freddy's was such a hit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And look what
Minecraft.
turned off it. Like, it's an entire brand now. It's gigantic.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because someone was like, oh, let's make like a pointed type, click type, like horror game at some point.
That is what these big studios are starting to realize too. The problem is once they get the grubby hands, they are still they're still profit first. Once they get the grubby hands, they might even ruin AA. But we'll see. We'll see what the future brings. But I do think there's a need for that people need to kind of
Games
discover.
for fun?
Yeah, we need more games for
Let's
fun.
make games fun. Yeah, I agree. I think the live service, while it is fun for, you know, just a couple games, or maybe even if a competitive sense, I think the casuals, the filthy casuals, we enjoy games that are just like fun to play. Like we want to hop on the mic with our friends, and that's another thing I haven't really heard a lot in Overwatch is I'll play a competitive game. There's not a lot of people on mic anymore.
No, almost nobody.
We just almost nobody. I think we want to go back to that era of gaming where like we could hop on a random game with a couple of friends or even randoms and just like coordinate on a team as a team.
Mm-hmm.
It's a recharge objective.
I avoid in-game voice chats already for reasons.
Yeah,
that tells you a lot though.
But that there's a reason why there's so few people on voice chat. There's a reason. It's it's not because people don't want to coordinate anymore. It just becomes such a toxic experience. Nobody wants to go through that. So there's a bigger problem. All right, guys, I think it's about time that we start wrapping things up. Some people need to rest their voice because they have been sick all week. And other people
make some tea.
and other people need to enjoy the Florida weather. And I personally...
Right. It's like raining over here.
Is it raining?
Super rainy.
Okay. Well, then you have Belgian weather. Enjoy. I do think there's a different temperature. Looking at your t-shirt and looking at mine, I think we do have a bit of a temperature gap right there.
What do you mean? It's very hot here.
That's because you're wearing a sweater, lady. With a huge skeleton on it. Oh, now I spoiled it for all those people that were not watching the video. But it was nice talking to you guys again.
It was.
It was a pleasure. We will talk again in 2 weeks. And be nice. Be healthy. Be safe.
Play nice. Play nice. How about that?
Yeah, play nice. Be nice to people around you and in-game chat.
I just noticed that Frozen has the same hair color than the reflection of the LP's screen and his glasses.
True,
There we go.
matching.
All right, guys, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.